Hello everyone, this is the fourth tutorial for the Realpolitiks free Earth and Beyond, and we'll be talking economy and research. First of all, I would like you to pay attention to the top bar of the user interface, where you can find all of the necessary information regarding the changes to the resources, the money and the action points. These are the basics that you will be dealing with. It's always a good idea to track over time. One small hint: don't spend all your resources fully, because when you reach the magical zero, it is as simple as that. You might need to spend money within that very month. The game will borrow automatically, and if you actually go to your economy, you will see that your debt has increased, and that brings with it all of the ramifications. What is important for the economy is also political stability. It allows you to fare better. It allows you to survive longer, with more money coming in, with more resources coming in, if you actually manage to bring your country to stability. So the more stable the country is, the more likely you are going to be to stabilize it. The less stable, the less you'll be earning, and we have a fairly high inflation. But let's get back to the main window. So the economy window on the left bar is the main checkout. So here you will be setting your taxes by simply choosing one of the positions from the very low to the very high. You can adjust the bureaucracy, which will ensure that you have certain income of the action points, and then you have the military administration. This is important not just for the economy, but the higher the pay of the militaries, the better the morale. You have to ensure that before you actually go to war, which is a state that we are preparing in this campaign for, you are ready to go with a well-adjusted, disciplined troops. So, for a player, you usually start deeply in debt. I would suggest getting rid of that. That is what the tab of debt is for. You've got several options to choose from. You either pay off the debt directly, you can play with the inflation. So if I really want to, I can fight it, but we are almost already out of cash. Frankly, it's not the best idea to have no debt. The sweet position is, I would say, around high or small, as both give you bonuses to the GDP growth. It really depends how much you care about the unemployment, but if you really want that pure GDP growth, you might want to choose one of these. Next, we have the growth tab. It shows you the overview of all the main resources and indicators, especially in terms of the negative ones. You will want to use it as much as possible, especially in cases of more complex things like HDI. You really want to know which projects are using it, if you need to disable, especially in the later parts of the game, where action points are the most important resource. because you will be building up those programs and research. You will want to know where it is being spent, and if it threatens to turn over to a negative, you will want to find out how to stop the outflow. And as you can see, we have clearly invested too much in the monarchist party in Sweden. So, very handy window for the overview of the additional resources. The next one is the resources window itself, that also serves as a trade hub. It showcases all three main resources: the minerals, the energy, and the rare ones, and it allows you to sell them from volume of very high to very low, or just buy them if you are lacking them, to build up those structures, to build something important. So in case you are lacking a resource, as we are here, lacking the mineral resources, it's a good idea, in case you're really needing the building and the structure, to pay for it. It will be paid from cash. In case you do not have cash, it will go to your debt. So let's take more look at the trades. So the options here are always either sell, which will gradually sell the resources at the market prices, the very current market prices, or the buy option, which will allow you to purchase the given amount of the resource that you need or think you will need, and turn that into something of a supply that you can use later. The secondary tool of the economic control is essentially this economy summary. It gives you an overview of all of your expenses, of everything flowing out, flowing in. You will be able to see what's happening. If you are not sure where the money or any of the resources are flowing, you will look here. Detailed for every single resource, from money to the rare resource. You will be able to see what you will have to upend or cancel or close in order to balance out the sheets if you do not want to heavily invest in maintaining these resources at a loss, essentially. You get varied passive bonuses, and obviously there is a huge influence of the government on the economy. It's a good idea to always check out any of the economic ministries and find out, okay, can I play with the inflation? Can I get my stuff back in order? And we can lower it in this case. The same goes for trade here. As I've said, the government window allows you a great deal of control. You would have to replace the minister here to get beyond the 0, but you can most definitely do this. And any of the economic ministries will help us here. Let's raise our chances. More mineral resources, more resources in general. Again, it's completely up to the player to configure all of his government in any way they want. It's easy. You have to pay a bit, sacrifice a little, but once you stabilize the general debt and your income, it's simple to raise all of your markers, but we will be paying a lot for the ministries, and yeah, they are one of the outflows that you can meet with. Another tool that you can use to control economy are the province actions. You can choose any of the investments. Some of these are actually beneficial to the country as a whole, to things like the general environmental health. Some of these are very aggressive. They will short term give you an advantage, but long term you will heavily pay for it. There is always the detail here from the duration to cool down before you can use the action again. Similarly, if you would like to deal with the economical side of other countries, you've got treaties here. You can also always invest in a country. This is an action that you can always take from time to time. Investment itself will let you invest a certain amount of money with a return. Another important part of economy is your stock market. You grow it and evolve it via contact with other countries. You have a certain amount of slots for the investors. So the more stable the country is, the better for you. The more value you can get out of this. The same goes for the improvements. You unlock new slots, you unlock new markets via your projects menu. So if you really want to run your financial superiority on the stock exchange, you will take the appropriate path in the game. That is the stock market. Depending on your values, you can always get your money's worth if you are careful in managing the stock policy and the relationships with other countries. Now, as mentioned, economy is always dependent on the inflow of your resources. You have to ensure from the start that you have positive mineral, energy, and rare resources coming in. This is something that you can always take care of in the economic buildings. And as you unlock the research and as you unlock the projects in the projects window, again, your options will expand. So, for example, you wouldn't have the basic mineral resources mine. You need to bump up the necessary mineral resources income. I am building it in, making sure that I balance it out with the environmentally friendly buildings to ensure that things like unrest, things like pollution, all that would somehow prevent me from having a positive balance on either one resource or all of them in the province are prevented at all costs. There is always the option to create varied blocks, trade blocks, economic blocks. If you are not in a block that would remind you of European Union, you can create your own version of it, ensure that even more income is directed your way. It really depends on the playstyle. choosing a campaign, choosing that no block or block setting, very important for the start of the game and the way you will conduct yourself. As the blocks have the tendency to box you in, it's much more difficult to make the name for yourself, and they will not watch idly by as you build up for military aggression. So you need your provinces, you need opening up building slots, you need your ministers to be ready to supply you with all of the bonuses that lower your costs and increase your incomes. And that is the basis for the economy in Realpolitiks 3. So, to progress, to build up in Realpolitiks 3, you need to address the projects and the research. Research is essentially something that you do one time only. It's not being paid over time. It doesn't take away from your resources. Once you, for example, come up with the jet fighter generation 2, you pay off, you get the effect, you can recruit it. The same goes for the science structure. Once you gain these, once you unlock them, though they are pretty expensive, you are able to use them. On the other hand, projects are something that will always force you to balance your HDI, Human Development Index, especially in the terms of the culture and education. You have most of the most significant ones that bring more HDI, and as you grow, there are higher and higher requirements upon said projects to unlock. You also pay, as you can see, you pay in resources. There is a maintenance cost that can balloon up significantly. So if you just go into it pell-mell, you will fail. Your projects will cancel themselves because you will not have enough HDI, which is something you can also do, disable a project. And you will lose the bonuses. So there is nothing else worse than a situation when you run out of resources, your projects collapse, your economy collapses alongside that, your army cannot be paid, therefore its morale is close to zero, and other countries basically decide to invade you. So these are the two categories that you can choose to invest into in terms of progress. Frankly, it is very key to develop your economy as quickly as you can, as quickly as possible, with certain very specific projects in the civic infrastructure, like the hydro plants or the alternative nuclear power plants, mineral resources mine, and the assorted research. So you can ensure that you are growing these resources, helping out your economy, helping out to put it back on its feet, make it stable. So you really want to get back into those green numbers as quickly as you can, but the steady wins the race here. It's easier to do one step after another, and you can always trade for the resources if you really have enough money. So that's the first step to make. There is several other things to the research. You have research institutions You can check out the buffs and debuffs of each one of these. And once you have chosen it for a given period, it will be assigned to you. And if you prioritize certain research, it will help you out in that regard to speed it all up. What is also important, if you are opening any of the projects, trying to research, you can always perform a destiny point boost, which will allow you to build faster with some significant advantages. And if you combine this with the ministers and the research speed that you can get to right over here, the implementation of the tech will be shorter. Again, you are stacking up advantages and buffs on the top of what you want to do. And that's it for the part 4. Thank you very much for listening.